Manipulation is harmful influence over others to create an imbalance of power, to control you, to get resources, benefits, and privileges. The goal of manipulation is control. Unless you want to be controlled, learn the signs and move on when you see them. People who manipulate others attack their mental and emotional vulnerability to get them to do what they want. Manipulation can happen in families, close or casual relationships, but they're more common in romantic relationships. To protect you or alert you if you're in one, here are 7 red flags that show you're dealing with a toxic personality, someone who wants to create this imbalanced relationship, to take advantage of you. Learn the signs to avoid misery. Sign number 1, love bombing. Hey, it feels great, and it's moving quickly, and you sense something is off because they're moving so quickly. I mean, what's not to like, right? Moving quickly with high intensity is most likely a play to pull you into a relationship so that the next part, the control part, comes. If it feels off, don't ignore your gut. Now, don't exit the relationship just because it's moving too fast and with high intensity, but be on your guard for the next red flag, which is number 2, hot and cold. Yeah, things are moving in the right direction. Then you're not sure why there's a physical or emotional withdrawal. What happened? Well, see how it plays out, because most likely it's about seeing how much control they can get over you. With one hot and cold experience, she later let me know that I'd done something she didn't like, and it was her way of letting me know. Huh? In another experience with a growing friendship, she disappeared for 2 days. No response. When she finally responded, she said, "I just wanted to see if you were man enough to pursue me when I wasn't showing interest." Huh? Man enough is a guilt-tripping phrase, which we'll talk about in flag number 7, but this love bombing, followed by this form of control such as physical and emotional withdrawal, is all about seeing how much control they can have over you. When control's the goal, hit the exit, unless you want to be in an imbalanced high-control relationship. That brings us to red flag number 3, mirroring. This is a weird red flag, and I wouldn't have believed it if I hadn't seen it in a number of women. This is where they start out really being their own unique person, but then more and more acting like you, dancing like you, reflecting your sense of humor back to you. In short, mirroring you because they're trying to create resonance and they're trying to be the person they think you want them to be. Yikes. It's fake. And it's a red flag, and it shows someone who's prone to manipulation. Speaking of which, flag number 4, overreaction, attack, blame, accusation. You know, we all overreact at times. Traffic slows down, the dinner reservation got canceled by the restaurant, product didn't perform according to our expectations, etc. Life happens. But with manipulative, the overreaction has teeth. It's darker. They're frustrated like everyone gets, but then it gives way to personal attack, falling into victimhood, blaming, guilt-tripping. It's like when the heat is turned up, out comes the darkness. Why do we have restaurant problems when you make the reservation, huh? Real men make sure things go right for their girl. Why can't I just have one night where things go well, as they fall on their victimhood sword? Why do people dump on me when I'm so nice to them? Again, as they fall on their victimhood sword. Later, the breakdown comes with a form of re-recruitment and love bombing, which is their way of saying, I hate you, I don't take responsibility, but don't leave me. Folks, this is no win. Run, don't walk when you see this play out. Which brings us to red flag number 5, which is the gap conversation. You notice a gap, such as a mispromise, a problem. You bring it up. It doesn't go well because they can't take responsibility. They engage in some really strange diversionary tactics used by highly manipulative, potentially narcissistic people. One is they might deny. What are you talking about? Or they deflect. Well, you did X, so why are we talking about this? or deceit, flat out lying and doing it with such ease, or attempting to confuse the issue, throwing at you a bunch of non-relevant facts just to confuse the issue. When someone can't own their behavior, you can't create a balanced relationship with them. Move on. That brings us to red flag number 6, indirect messaging. They have a need, but they don't ask directly. They don't ask for money, they just let you know that they have a need. And if you say no, they'll say, hey, I didn't ask. Or if you say yes, of course I'll take it. I saw this with a friend who would let me know how poor she was, that she needed surgery, dental work, you name it. And I would say, oh, that's a tough situation. What are you going to do? I don't know, she would say. Then I would let the conversation die. The next day she would say the same thing. She would just kind of indirectly point to this need she had. Oh, life is really tough for me. Okay. Are you asking me to give you money for this? Oh, no, she would say. And it went on and on and on like that. I finally let go of the friendship because her indirectness was a clear sign of manipulation, and I had had enough. I encourage you to do the same when you see this same red flag. That brings us to red flag number 7, and that is the victim story paired with guilt tripping. I mentioned guilt tripping with the previous red flag, the gap conversation, but that also shows up as part of the victim narrative they seem to live with. Many manipulative people love the victim story because it plays on the emotions of empathetic people and opens the door to control. Because if you pity them, that can keep you in the relationship out of a sense of guilt. I know because I lived this. Pity leads to a kind of savior syndrome where you want to put on your Superman cape and heal them. If I just do X, they'll somehow learn to trust again, they'll heal. Folks, this isn't love, but it's misplaced pity, and in doing so, they're playing you. I paired victim story with guilt tripping because they often go together. Pity draws you in, guilt tripping is how they attempt to control you. You're just like my ex. This implies that unless I behave differently, I'm the bad guy. You're not capable of meeting my needs. This implies that I need to do more to please them. Real men know how to treat their queen. This implies I lack character, and unless I do more to please them, then I'm not a real man. You see how this works? If you find yourself feeling guilty for no reason, you've been pulled into their pity party, most likely have been victimized by their guilt tripping, yet you can't put your finger on why you feel as you do. The same is true of the person who finds themselves apologizing often, walking on eggshells because their partner seems fragile, yet is also prone to blow up and overreact. That's why pity party with a side of guilt tripping is a manipulation red flag. From experience, I can say it won't get any better. Move on. When you see red flags, you might ignore your gut even when you sense something is off. Or you might feel confused about what you're seeing, or find yourself apologizing just to try and get back on the same page, or feel guilty for no reason. These are all signs that it's time to get out, it's time to move on. That person can't be fixed until they are ready to take responsibility and change their life. That's not your job. Folks, if you found this information helpful, like and subscribe to the Change Capability Institute for more content like this.